Hi, everyone. It's Sarah. We are not live today. I'm going to just tell you that now. So if you're going to do comments and everything, we're not going to be able to answer them. And I know a lot of you like to ask questions and comment. So I'm sorry. I'm traveling for a little vacation to the East Coast on Thursday. So we are not able to be live. But if you're listening on podcast channels, nothing changes for you. It's all there. I'm so excited for our guest today. So the way that we met is we helped one of their pigs through Live Like Rue Foundation. For those of you that know me and know the story, Live Like Rue is my foundation for animals with cancer. And somehow we got tagged, I think, on some Dora posts. And I asked Matt if they would come on the podcast. So Matt is going to be here. And like it's just amazing what they do. And I've been doing research the past few days, and I really cannot wait to talk to him. So Farm Animal Refuge is the name of their organization. Just doing incredible things. Before we do that, I want to give a shout out to my sponsors. Unmuzzled is presented by the following sponsors. Bark Pouch. Bark Pouch believes there's no greater joy than a delightful time with your dog or dogs, plural. We like a lot of dogs around here. So they make irresistible lickable treats that are easy to use while walking, training, grooming, familying, friending, and even vet visits. Check them out, barkpouch.com. Kiki's Corner Natural Pet Foods in downtown Winfield, Illinois, just a block south of CDH Hospital on the railroad tracks. Kiki's has all your food and health aid needs for dogs and cats. Kiki's Corner for a healthy, happy pet. Canine Cruise is the place to take your pet. They offer dog and cat boarding, dog daycare, pet retail, and mindful day school. With over 12,000 square feet of indoor space and a spacious yard, they are the one-stop shop for professional pet care in Chicago. Thank you so much to my sponsors. So I want to show you guys, let's save animals together. I'm going to bring in Matt. So after we helped Dora the pig, you sent me this amazing shirt, and I had to find it because I wear it all the time. So I'm not gonna lie, it's dirty right now, but I'm like, I need to wear this shirt because I love your logo, I love your message, and welcome to the podcast, Matt.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so tell everybody. So I'm gonna tell everybody right now. I grew up with a pot-bellied pig, and it was our pet, and it did not, unfortunately, make me change my mind about eating meat. But a lot of what Farm Animal Refuge does is messaging as well as saving farm animals, which, Matt, I am now vegetarian. So it took me a while, but because of this podcast and all of the guests I've had that have helped, with farm animals and save farm animals and advocate for farm animals. So I'm getting there. And I know you're a former chef, and reading about how this all started, I would just love to hear kind of how this all came about, because I think it's amazing.
Yeah, so Farm Animal Refuge, we actually just turned 7 years old. So we're so excited to be where we are today. We just hit 7 years old on August 1st. We started August 1st of 2016, me and Jordan Russo, who's the co-founder, ended up kind of, deciding we needed to have something like this in San Diego. We visited similar places in other parts of California, specifically mainly Los Angeles, and really saw the impact of meeting animals that are generally used in the agriculture industry can have on somebody's perception of them, and specifically their diet. So we decided we needed something like that in San Diego. We didn't really have, a ton of money or a lot of, backing at that time. So we ended up finding this property, which is about 45 minutes east of central San Diego, 10 acres out on Campo, and just started really small. We kind of uprooted our lives and moved out here and commuted the hour to work every single day to sustain this place until we're able to get it to where it is now. And we're happy that we have over 93 animals currently here at the residence, and have saved hundreds more in different avenues of that.
Yeah, and I think there's such a need for it. And I feel like you probably hear the saddest stories. And just like I was reading about some of the goats, there's some goats here that were continually attacked by coyotes. And I believe that you took in all of the goats, which is just amazing. But can you tell us a story about these amazing goats?
Yes, we refer to that group as the Magics. I'm not 100% sure how Jordan came up with that. She just said that they're so magical that we ended up calling them the Magics. They actually came, the first week of March in 2020. So we didn't have a 100% plan on where they were going to go or if they were going to stay here. But obviously, a week later, everything kind of took a turn for everybody. And with that, nonprofits, it was a very scary time for us. So we didn't know if all the donations were going to be drying up, if we were going to be sustaining this ourselves. So we didn't feel comfortable having them go to another place. So we ended up actually keeping all 5 of them here, and they all still live here and they're doing great. But this story is a really sad one of somebody who loved them and was trying to do a good thing, but didn't have the proper facilities for them and the proper protection to keep them from predators. And once a predator shows up, they keep coming back to all the animals are gone. So as soon as we got that call, we knew we had to say yes that day or more were going to die that night. So we ended up picking all 5 of them up, bringing them to the sanctuary, and now they live here. Super happy, super feisty. They're actually pretty senior, but because they're finally in a big herd, they act like young goats. It's really funny to watch.
Oh, I love that so much. Like it's just like when I was looking through the pictures of everybody you have there, it's just amazing. I see how even you have 2 dogs. What so how do you find these animals? Like I assume a lot of them are owner surrenders. I saw FFA sent you I think it was a sheep or maybe it might have been a goat too. But and I don't want everybody to go to Matt and Jordan and say, "Hey, I can't take." That's not the point here. But how does the process work? How do you end up with them?
So they all come from different avenues. We get an overwhelming amount of calls to take animals on a weekly basis. Unfortunately, we have to say no to 98, 99% of the calls that we get. We just don't have the capabilities of saying yes. I mean, we're getting almost a call a day to take animals, mainly potbelly pigs and roosters from people who buy backyard chickens. The breeders or the tractor supplier, the supplier will tell you that they're all female and one of them ends up being male, starts crowing, your neighbors start complaining, and then you can't keep them anymore. So we do get an overwhelming amount of calls. So in the beginning, it was a little bit easier when we have more space because we're able to take a little bit more. But at this point in the sanctuary, we're not at capacity, but we have to grow as our support grows. So we have to be very strategic on who we're going to be able to say yes to and who we're going to bring here. And a lot of them recently have been emergency and medical cases because we have a lot of experience and capabilities of doing those things. So we have a group called the Funky Bunch, who are our group of animals with special needs. So some of them are neurological, some of them are in wheelchairs, some of them are missing legs. And then a lot of the calls that we get are if we don't say yes to this animal right now, they are going to die pretty miserably. So we have to kind of make a decision. And then planning in the future, we will be taking in a little bit more animals, but we have to be a little bit more strategic just because we do have the 93 animals. We have to grow as our support grows. So we'll be moving into different kinds of categories of like the larger pigs we're kind of focusing on this year. Last year, we were focusing on lab animals who were rescuing out of the test labs. And the year before, we actually did a huge hoarding case of potbelly pigs that we placed all over the country from somebody who, again, had a really good intention, but was not able to take care of the pigs. They started breeding and she ended up with 400 to 500 pigs on our property. So we took over 100 here and helped try to place them at different homes.
4 to 500.
Yeah, it was a lot. Yeah, it is a lot. So we kind of helped where we could and partnered with some people that were able to help us as well. And they ended up going literally all over the country. I think I drove over 50,000 miles that year, dropping them off to their forever homes. We ended up the overpopulation of potbelly pigs is something a lot of people don't know. There's no such thing as a teacup pig. There's no such thing as a micro pig. They all end up being way bigger than the breeders tell you they're going to be. You do have to have the proper facility for them. You have to have the proper yard, the proper stimulus for their brain because they're so smart. They can be really, really destructive if they don't have the avenues to kind of express those natural behaviors. So do not fall into that myth. Do not buy a baby pig thinking it's going to stay small and be prepared for what you're going to get into in the future. They can live up to 20 years. And it is like having a perpetual 4-year-old in your house. They have the same emotions. They have the same stubbornness. They have the same intelligence as a 4-year-old child. So over 90 to 95% of pigs that are bought are rehomed within the 2 years. So the overpopulation of potbelly pigs is something we've been working really hard with over the last 7 years as well.
Yeah, I mean, looking at your pictures, I saw so many. And, when we got ours, and I will tell you, they are so smart and so emotional. I grew up with that pig, and that pig was like that pig. My dad let that pig in the house like that.
Ah,
It sincerely, and in the late 80s and early 90s, like everybody wanted one because they
yeah.
thought they would stay small and you could have them in your bed, and that's not true at all. But I will say Boris, he waited until I got home from college to pass away, and I know people are like, oh no, like no, like I said, I was able to say goodbye to him, and then he passed away, and I really do believe that in my heart because I loved that pig so much, and they really do. All pigs really make you change your mind about pork, ham, bacon. It's so true. The personalities that come out in not just pot-bellied pigs but farm pigs, and Matt, you see it every day. It's really really incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. People don't understand the intelligence pig have. They're actually the fourth or fifth smartest land animal in the entire world. So they're ranking up there with elephants, dolphins, non-human primates. So they do have the capacity to understand, to solve problems, and they are an incredibly emotional animal that do have strong bonds with other animals, pig and non-pig animals. So it is amazing to see how awesome they are, but it just makes it more heartbreaking how exploited they are in the industry. And when you have one or you meet one, it really puts a face to a product that you're generally buying at the store when you never really have to think about those connections. And that's what our aim is really just to get people out here to meet these animals, kind of learn about them, realize that they are very similar to the dogs and the cats and the animals we consider companion animals, bring into our homes and love, and hopefully make some more responsible choices about their diet and their choices when they leave.
Yeah, I read an article where Jordan said, "We just want you to make compassionate choices." I think that that line alone, like if you can go and make a choice to do something after spending time with these amazing animals that you've rescued from really dire situations a lot of time, I think it will change minds. It's so important. And I know you guys do a lot of the educational stuff too, which kind of, if you're not part of helping prevent what you're taking in, then you're gonna just it's gonna just cycle through. So can you tell us a little bit about the education? And I know you offer, I think, tours of the farm too, pre-range type things, but the education just, about farm animals and how kids even look at them, it's so important what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. We offer tours, public and private, as well as two free events every single year. Our biggest impact, we believe, is getting people to leave animals off their plates, out of their fashion, and out of their entertainment. And just diet alone, you can save almost 200 animals a year, just yourself, by going plant-based. We really believe that is our biggest impact, is really showing people how to do that, why you should do that, and the importance of it, and the animals that are suffering behind the scenes when you're not making that decision. So we do offer people to come out here all the time on different platforms, on different price points, to give them what kind of experience that they need to really fall in love with these animals and realize how awesome they are. And if you're not local, there's obviously tons of sanctuaries around. Obviously, you probably don't know that. Obviously, to me, because I know all of them, but there, you probably don't know there are tons of sanctuaries all around the world, and probably pretty close to you that offer similar things. And if you are interested in doing something virtual, we actually have a couple free virtual field trips that you can participate in, where they're just pre-recorded kind of tours of the sanctuary with some education. One is specifically meant for elementary school kids, so it's like a K-5 kind of video, and the other one is for high school kids. So it's about 15-20 minutes of an educational video. It's nothing graphic or traumatizing or anything. It's just a very compassionate way to kind of introduce people to these animals and show them how amazing that they are.
Yeah, and I think about like when I grew up, like it was FFA, going to the
Yeah.
farm show. I mean, these are like small town farm show, giddy up, and looking back, that can be traumatizing. I mean, I remember seeing a cow giving birth because I, was painting a farmer's fence to make money, and it was a dairy farm,
Yeah.
so I think what you're doing is even better because you're showing like the compassionate side of farm animals and that they have feelings and they care about what is going to happen to them in their life. Do you have like a favorite story? I know that's probably really hard, but like is there one animal that kind of sticks out that has always been with you and maybe, is still there or you lost or is there a favorite story?
Yeah, one of my favorite rescues that we've ever done is, we call them the India family. It was actually a cow that we rescued from a state fair. A lot of people don't realize that those animals are actually generally slaughtered after the fair ends. The night that it closes, the trucks show up. All those animals are there to be sold into the meat industry, and they're taken to slaughter. We were able to rescue one cow named India out of that situation. Picked him up that night, brought him home, and he's the biggest love bug in the entire world. He was only a year and a half, was generally pretty much the slaughter age of cows in the industry. So he was still very young, still full of energy, and just really loved life. We introduced him to Gracie, a cow that we rescued out of the dairy industry right away. They bonded. And after a couple months, we, really just loving on him and saying how awesome he is, and then really discussing about how sad it is that they get taken away from their moms at about 8 weeks and generally sold into the program, and then you know into the fairs and everything. So we knew his mom's name just by pure circumstance. So we ended up calling farms and asking if they had a cow named India, which we knew her name was India as well. And we ended up tracking her down. So we made a deal with the farmer that we were actually going to pick her up in 2 days and bring her home and reunite her with India, who was the baby that she had lost that we had rescued from the fair. And during that process, the farmer said, "She's great. She's a great breeder. You're going to love her. She just gave us twins a couple months ago." And we're like, "Well, where are the twins at?" And she said, "Oh, they're at another farm and they're about to be sold into the meat industry." And we're like, "That's not going to happen. We'll be there Saturday and we're going to get all of them. Like, bring them back. We're going to take all of them." So we ended up picking the mom up, the two babies that she had just had a couple months before that she had already lost, bringing them home, reuniting her with her son that she had lost a year before. They recognized each other immediately. We had a fence in between them because we knew we were bringing babies here. We didn't know how India was going to react. And India tried to get through the fence to his mom. She ran over. They embraced. They wrapped their necks around each other. And then she remembered, "My babies. Where are my babies?" She ran. She placed herself between her and her twins and wouldn't let us get near them. She knew that she had just gotten them back. She was not going to let them disappear again, and actually placed herself physically as a barrier between us, which we completely respected, and we let her kind of decompress until she finally trusted us. And lo and behold, after she came here, she was pregnant again. They're impregnated every single year because that baby is profit for the farmer, so they're going to be impregnated every year. And she was already pregnant when she came here, so she had baby Rose here, which is her 9th baby she had in her whole life, and the only baby she never saw taken away from her. And they all live as a huge happy family now here and spend 100% of their day together. That's probably one of my favorite stories that we've ever done.
Oh my God, that makes me cry. I mean, how can
Surprised
you?
I didn't cry. I usually cry every time I say it, so I'm proud,
It's
proud that I did.
yeah, it's just wow. I mean, just amazing. So how were you able to talk the farmer into giving you the twins?
Yeah, so this specific instance, we actually paid for the animals, which was early on when we rescued, and something our policy changed that we never do anymore. We quickly realized that's just perpetuating the problem, putting a new animal in that exact same situation. So we did make that decision back then, and it's something that we stand by, and we know was probably not right, but it was able to reunite a family and bring them back together. But paying for animals is not something that we do or something that we will ever do. And having the overwhelming amount of calls for animals needing homes is not something that's ever necessary. You don't need to pay for an animal because that's just going to be putting an exact same animal in the situation right behind them. There's plenty of animals out there that need homes that do not need to be, there's plenty of medical cases that you need to pay for to rescue these animals, but actually buying them is not necessary and something we never do anymore.
Yeah, what a great point and what a great lesson for everybody. A lot of rescues will go to Craigslist and you really are like if you giving somebody money for an animal and that they're gonna just ask for more for the next person that does it. So that's a great lesson. Do you have something? Because I know how hard it is to run a nonprofit. I know how hard it's been to run a nonprofit since 2020. Do you have like what are your biggest needs? I assume donations are number one. Do you have like a wish list for supplies? How can people help you?
Yeah, there's multiple ways to donate. If you wanted to do a wish list, we have our Amazon link right on our store or our website. And then monetary donations are always super needed. So any kind of donations through social media, through our website, or any monthly sponsorship through an app like Donor Perfect through our website or Patreon is a great way to support us. And if you can't do it financially, just interacting on social media with any sanctuary, sharing their content and commenting on it, saving it, sending it to friends really helps our message get out there. So you don't even need to contribute financially if you're not able to. You can just interact with the post, spread our message, share our story, and get people to hear about us and kind of follow us and, hopefully contribute that way.
Yeah, exactly. I think sharing and commenting and liking sometimes goes almost further than a monetary donation if you can't do that. And then I do want to talk about Dora because they sent me this amazing shirt, but they also sent me a postcard of her picture as a thank you. So we did help out with some of their costs. I think it was around $1,800 or so. But Matt, can you tell us the story of Sweet Dora?
Yeah, so Dora is amazing and it is an incredible story. We're so thankful that you all helped with her. It was something that obviously cancer is not something that you plan for, but it's something that you have to treat pretty aggressively. And we are so happy we're able to do that. Dora came to us the day she was born with her brothers and sisters and her mom from a shelter. They were incredibly sick. The mom was very malnourished. She wasn't able to produce milk to feed them. So we actually ended up hand raising them. They needed to be fed every 2 hours. And with 6 babies, every 2 hours means by the time you're done with the sixth one, you have about 15 minutes before you have to start the second one or the next round all over again. So they are incredibly special. They lived in our house for quite a long time, and we really brought them back from the brink of death a couple times because of how sick they were. So they're definitely very special pigs to us. And Dora is one of the sweetest ones. She's one of the smallest, just cutest little fragile ones. She's about 100 pounds now. And we noticed that she had some concerning bony changes in her forehead. So we ended up getting some diagnostics, doing a CT scan, and finding out that she actually had nasal carcinoma. With a dog and a cat, totally fine, totally treatable. Let's hit the ground running. We have so many options of treatment plans for an animal that is seen as a product like a pig or a cow or a sheep or a goat or a chicken. Those options are a lot more limited, and the people that will work on them are a lot harder to find because sanctuary work is very new. There's not a ton of doctors that have the capabilities of doing the treatment because most farm vets that are working with livestock are taught not to exceed the value of the animal, which means don't spend more on that animal that I'm able to sell them for their milk, for their eggs, or for their meat. So a lot of these advanced diagnostics and advanced treatments are not available to agricultural animals, but through networking, through our amazing vet, Dr. Rosen, who really sees the animals just like we see them, some of her colleagues and had an oncologist agree to do radiation on Dora. So we were able to get that started. She had 5 rounds of radiation through over a week. Dora actually stayed at Dr. Rosen's house with us to be monitored because anesthesia on a pig is very tricky. And we were absolutely happy to report that we got 100% clear free of cancer from her. And we are so happy. And we don't know any other pig that's gone through this treatment. So it was a very scary process, but so thankful that we had such an amazing group of people to support us, get us through it, just like you guys. And she is happy, healthy, and cancer free now.
Best news. And I see you tearing up, and I'm going to tear up because I mean, it's so worth it. It's worth every single penny that we donated. And I want you guys to know, like, we have your back. You know, if a cow has a mass, we'll help you no matter what it takes. You know, we've funded horses and rats and hamsters and ferrets and bunnies. And, you know, I always want to help the next thing that comes along, especially farm animals that you've saved again from really horrible situations in most cases. But thank you, Matt, so much. I really appreciate your time. You're a great guest, and you have a huge fan here in Chicago. So anything we can do via Live Like Rue, please let me know. Keep doing what you do. I would love to have you on again, maybe in a year, just for an update. I mean, 93 animals and just me paging through them, guys. You saw the pictures. Just please go to their website and check them out. I mean, it's incredible the work they do. They've got them all posted there. But thank you so much, Matt. I appreciate the time.
Thank you for having me on. And I don't know if you saw the newest rescue that we actually brought here. She's a big pig that we rescued. She actually jumped out of a transport truck when she was heading to slaughter. And we draw their name randomly. We have all of our monthly sponsors through our patron app suggest names, and randomly we draw the name Rue. So I don't know. There's something in the stars. This is the newest rescue that happened about a month ago. So that is like pure circumstance that we drew that name that people recommended. So I think it just shows that, you know, maybe there's a little bit more out there watching over all of us and really getting us together and connecting us. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, no doubt. Thank you so much, Matt. I can't wait to follow Rue's story now, and we definitely will be following. You guys do an amazing job with social media. I think letting people behind the scenes of what you do is so important. It makes people want to donate. It makes people want to support you and share. So great work all around. I really appreciate your time. Have a great night.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
No problem. Guys, that was Matt. Please go follow Farm Animal Refuge. They do amazing work. And again, I think I must have gotten tagged a few times on the pig, and then they did actually like apply through the process, even though with rescues, we always will support 100%. So I really appreciate their time. Go like and follow and support if you can donate to them. Incredible work they're doing. All right, supporting sponsors, it's your time. We can't do this podcast without our following supporting sponsors. Twin Tails Market and Barkery is a local family-owned business that has been serving the community for close to 7 years. Located in Palos Park, Twin Tails has everything you need to give your dogs and cats healthy and natural foods, treats, chews, toys, and much, much more. You can find them at twintailsmarket.com and on Facebook and Instagram at Twin Tails Market. The Canine PT specializes in helping senior dogs improve their independence with their daily routine as they age, heal, or recover post-surgery through exercise, massage, laser, and acupuncture so they can live their golden years without the need for pain medication. Brilliant work you're doing, Canine PT. Anything is Possible is Chicago's premier dog training company. I have sent so many people to Anything is Possible. They offer group classes for every stage of your dog's life and have a talented team of behavior specialists to work through any issues that need modification using positive reinforcement. Liz Starks at Guaranteed Rate. Check with Liz for the absolute best mortgage options. She helps when others can't and even calls it rescue loans. Buyers, sellers, or investors, give Liz a call. She can lend in all 50 states. NMLS number 224526. Kimberly King Photography. Kimberly is a professional photographer from Chicago who loves animals as much as you do. That's a lot. Her pet portraiture celebrates pure love, connection, and the beauty of life with our furry loved ones by our side. Canine Therapy Corps. Give back and volunteer with your dog at Canine Therapy Corps. Volunteer teams empower and motivate individuals through goal-directed, animal-assisted therapy services free of charge across Chicagoland. Visit caninetherapycorps.org for more information. Thanks, everyone. Next week, we will have a twofer, Lost Woods Animal Sanctuary, local to Chicago. They take in small animals, so turtles, rabbits, snakes, all of those things. Incredible work they're doing. They're just 2 years old, younger women who I love to support because they are in the thick of it in Illinois. And Bosley's Backyard. If you don't know Bosley's, you should. You can play with your dog, single dog. So in the winter, if you don't have a yard, you come in. They also host birthday parties, so much more. So that will be August 17th at 7 o'clock. That will be live, but from tape because I'm traveling. I'm sorry, guys. I just need a little break. Oh, boy, there goes my hair. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.